Go, guys.
Why are you so silly, man?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Talk About It Tuesday, or Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I am here with some great co-hosts or some great people on this live stream. I have Marcus, the Grand Marcus of America. I have Miss
Yes.
Tracy down, and I have Mr. Alif L. And tonight we're gonna talk about the single life. Um, this is not just for single people because apparently married people don't understand what it means to be married. So we about to draw the lines between what it is to be single, single, and semi-single. All right, guys. Yeah. So we're gonna start with what is your definition of single? Tracy, we'll start with you.
No pressure, right? Um, well, my grandmother told me a long time ago that if you aren't married, you're single. And that's kind of been the words I live by. You're frozen or I'm frozen.
Can y'all hear?
Okay.
Yeah.
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 All right. So what does it mean to be single, guys? Tracy, we couldn't hear you. Can y'all hear me good?
I can hear Tracy well.
I can hear you okay.
All right, cool. So let's start with our definitions. What is you as a woman in 2020? What is single?
Single is unattached. Single is
Damn, you niggas came out the woodwork.
single is not married. Single is
Fuck y'all on.
not having a partner. I don't know. Single means so much these days. Like I know some married people that's very single. So I mean, I know some married women that's really out here single. Like so, I don't know. It's lack of partnership, lack of
Partner.
unity. Yikes.
Is someone supposed to go
So
next?
single is
Oh.
unattached, not married, and it means that you don't have any commitments to any people of interest, right? Is that what I'm getting? Is that a proper
Yeah,
analysis of what you just said?
that's that's a good summary of it.
Tracy?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mr. Marcus,
What's due?
what's your definition of single as a man in 2020? What's that mean to you?
Single is
What up?
when you're
What that
wanting.
mean?
When single is when you're
You
wanting.
single? What?
Okay. Single is when you're wanting to deal with someone. Uh, you can confidently express how you want to spend time with them and actually engage in new things with them and not have to check in with anyone. If
Hmm.
you ain't got to check in,
Man.
then you single.
Okay. What does that look
So I can say when I say this, if you ain't got to check in, you single. So you could be in a whole relationship, but that motherfucker don't never make you check in. They not even really concerned about you when you out. So you single than a motherfucker, cause you ain't got to check in. Cause a woman gonna make your ass check in. I don't give a fuck who you is. If she fuck with
single
you,
mean?
she gonna make you check in. If I've been with bras that ain't make you check in, you single than a motherfucker. She ain't making you check in. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it's pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay. So they got so single is when you want to deal with people, but not to check in with those people or a
No,
person, or if you don't
if
know how to communicate what it is that you're actually wanting from that person? Is that what you're saying? Or
if
can
you
you
ain't got
help
to
us
check in with
understand?
nobody, if you don't have to check in with nobody, you single. It's not about if you don't want to. It's if you don't have to.
Oh, it's not a want, it's a have.
It's
Okay, or it's not.
right.
Okay,
If you don't have to, then you single.
okay.
That's it. That's pretty simple.
Vermont. Are you done first? Are you done, Mr.
Yeah,
Marcus?
yeah. That's it. It's simple for me.
Mr. L, can you tell us what your definition of single is down there, please?
Can y'all hear me first?
Yes.
Okay. Men can't be single. Only women can be single. Um, my definition of a woman being single is a woman absent of covering. That's it. Period. She doesn't have a covering, which means that she doesn't have a masculine, authoritative figure in her life, whether that be father, grandfather, or significant other. Period.
Hmm, okay.
So I come from a cultural aspect. So single is not really a term defined by a woman who is without a partner. It's just no definition for that in a cultural aspect. In a European aspect, yeah, there's a definition for single, but from a cultural standpoint, there is no such thing as being single. Either you're covered or you're not covered. Period.
Okay. There is no such thing as being single from a cultural standpoint. You just taught me something new tonight. I'm trying to process that. Do you care to elaborate on that anymore, or is that's enough?
It um it's almost self nah, it's not self explain if you don't come from that background. So I'll stay real general with it. Women should be covered.
So what about the
Simple.
men?
Men are the covering,
I get
right?
what he's saying.
I'm
When he
So
said
not I'm not
culturally, I get.
understanding the men ain't single
so
part.
so but men, okay, for you, men are the covering, right? But also in my culture, there's a definitive guideline to what a man is. So you can't be a cover until you become a man, right? So that means that you got to go through certain rites of passage. That means that you have to go through and
Mm-hmm.
accomplish certain things to become a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my culture, you won't consider an adult or a man until you have accomplished these things. Then once you've accomplished those things, you now have the embodiment to become a covering for a woman. So there's a bunch of males that are not men that can't even provide the correct covering.
So you're saying when you're cover qualified, that's when you're single.
No, there's no such thing as single, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
just saying
Like
like I think
You're either
because I
covered or you're the covering.
exactly.
right that's what I'm
That's it.
saying
He's speaking from like
when you
he's speaking
become
from a place of village. Like that's similar to when we say village. Like and when you have village, your children are covered, your women are covered. Like I get that's what I'm saying. When he once he said culturally, I got it immediately. Like you
Yeah,
protect your women, you protect your children because men are the covering for them. That is the protection. So that's what made me say I get it. As soon as he said it, I got it. It clicked for me immediately.
yeah.
I'm rocking with it. It's different.
Marcus, do you agree? You holding your nose? You agree, Marcus?
I'm just wanting to I'm wanting to actually understand. I'm not gonna say I totally understand I want to make sure that we're clear because
Be,
from my
I'm
end it
needing
sounds like
understanding.
from my end it sounds like we're just when a man becomes a cover or when he's qualified or certified to be a covering, when he's like, okay, this man is prepared to be a covering. When he breaks it down like that, it sounds like okay, he's prepared to be like open to being able to find his his lady, or how I don't know how his full language with it.
Yeah, that's correct, bro. That's correct. Because so many unqualified people become what will be considered a covering without a qualification through any type of eldership, type of like who gave you the authority papers to be a man? Like, let's say
Right.
that.
But
Right.
it
So
sounds
a lot
like
of times,
a
a lot
to
of times
me,
it's
in your culture,
like
y'all just don't use the word single. It's just covering.
I said, coming from a cultural standpoint,
Yeah.
we, the term single is irrelevant. That's not even a
Yeah.
term we use. No one
Right.
is single,
Yeah, because it wouldn't
right?
make
Because,
sense in the culture the way you're saying it wouldn't make sense. Right.
yeah, because this culture defines you as single. Even when you go
Hmm.
and put in an application or anything, right? You're
The
single,
the
right?
lie of
So
independence.
yeah, so what that means is you stand alone by yourself,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? Even if it's something as simple as I don't have a family, I'm single, right?
Hmm.
Single means that yeah, you the one Pringle out of the box by yourself.
Hmm.
By defined terms, we're not talking about a group aspect. So by defined terms, the single would mean like you're just abandoned, right?
Right.
So
I
that
totally agree.
single doesn't even hold any type of definitive
Because no one's single in your culture. Everyone has.
exact
Yeah.
every,
Right. Okay. We're clear
every
now. See,
so
that's
if, so if you're a man in the culture, then your father, until you come into your manhood, he's gonna make sure you come. He's your
Mm-hmm.
covering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you get into your manhood, now you can become a man that can actually now be a cover for women,
Mm.
right? So everyone's essentially covered, but that comes with having that comes with having elders. That's come with having good counsel. That doesn't come with just self-appointing one because you reached a certain age, but that means you haven't accomplished anything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um, or you haven't displayed the qualities too. Let's just say that you haven't displayed the qualities, so you haven't been granted your manhood yet.
That can be a pretty dangerous slope depending on who the elders are and their beliefs.
I mean, I don't really believe in anything.
Right. But I'm talking about other
Yeah,
people.
what
You know what
now?
I'm saying? Like people get into position and they start acting different. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it can be dangerous.
But that comes when you're devoid of culture.
Right,
It,
right, right, right.
see, when you're a part of something that is bigger than you, it's about aligning with what you're a part of. It's not about someone coming into their own because they reached the age, right? Because some of my elders are maybe a year older than me, right?
Right,
Because their manhood before I did. So therefore they can teach me the rights of manhood. They can teach me the qualities of manhood, right? So maybe
right.
and they can be good to me as well. Right.
But
So they can be
we could take an example of, let's say, like Malcolm X or something. He was doing cultural things, and he felt like in his culture there was things that needed to be changed about the way it was going about.
yeah, but see, when you bring up elders like that or people who are like that, which Alchemist was a very powerful brother, but you got to also understand he stepped outside of his culture.
Hmm.
So you have to understand too.
Hello?
He stepped outside. So, but I don't want to get too far off the topic. But yeah, he stepped outside his culture and came to, like, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So he can't be qualified as a person of that topic.
All right, cool. That's good.
All right. So, I guess we could go into a segue. Is there any pleasure? Or, well, we'll start with Tracy, and then I'll go. Somebody would say, "Oh, this single stuff is for the birds." Like a lot of people, desire or believe that they desire commitment, right? And so, what are some important first of all, what would you, what would it take for you to give up your single status? I guess that's a good question. And then what is it that you're desiring, if you desire anything aside from your singleness? Uh, did y'all hear me?
Yes, you said
sound
you told her to go first, so I'm just waiting.
you
I mean,
sound
I'll
mean.
go first.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no
I'm
matter.
waiting on Miss Tracy. I was just making sure.
You gonna stop making me go first?
Okay.
I
Well, I was just trying to
it's fine.
balance. You know,
It's
the
fine.
men was just talking.
It's cool. For me, I desire consistency. I desire reciprocity. Um, I desire communication, and 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 I need, yeah, in that order. I need consistency in your communication and consistency in your reciprocity. Like, we have to be able to have an adult conversation about what you're feeling, what your expectations are. A lot of people aren't honest about those things. And then that's when you have a communication breakdown. So for me, it's just finding somebody who can reciprocate or communicate that they can't reciprocate. And I think that we are in a society where everything is about a show, and we're so busy showing falsehood or bullshit or putting on a show for social media. So like that spills over into relationships, because you meet people online or you meet people and they got to put on a show for you too. And then 2 or 3 months later, you're recognizing that there is no consistency, or the person that you were posing and posting to be is not the person that you are. So like there's just a huge lack of consistency, and that is why I am still semi-single. Don't you judge me.
I didn't say anything.
Don't you judge me.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to. The laugh was enough. I said semi-single.
I feel it. I felt that. Well, I guess I'm next.
You are.
Why am I? Thank you, sis. Well, I'm single because I needed to work on some things within myself. I realized that though I did desire or believe that I desired companionship, I was not in the space or to receive what I believed that I desired. And honestly, I'm still figuring that out, if I could be completely honest. And a lot of times, I'm not sure. Some days, I'll be wanting, I think I want to be with somebody. But most times, I really enjoy my solitude. And I'm real selfish. I don't really want to give up. I don't even like to say single. I would appreciate a good man with some good consistent, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Good consistent trips to Pound Town, if you catch my drift. You know what I'm saying? I just, my body needs to be stimulated, my mind needs to be stimulated, my spirit needs to be stimulated. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I realize as a woman I get different things from different men. Meaning this guy might be good to talk to. You know, this guy might be good to cuddle with, but it's like it's hard to find that one thing, or if you think you believe, or well, for me, I'll just speak for me. Sometimes there was a time I thought I found that all in one person, but it did not work, or didn't seem to work the way I needed to. And so again, I'm still figuring it out.
Wouldn't
I
it just be easier
desire
just to put a
a
bunch of
genuine
people in a
man,
smoothie and make them one
honest.
person?
Call him Franken boyfriend. Just smash them all together.
What? You trying to call me out? What you saying, Marcus?
No, I said, why don't
Say
you put
what?
all of them in a
Put all
smoothie?
of them in a smoothie.
Put all them in the blender and make a smoothie.
He
I
said.
can't hear.
He said
put them all in a blender and make a smoothie.
I can't hear for whatever reason. I don't know. The universe don't want me to receive y'all message. What are y'all saying to me?
It's because them dudes texting you.
What are you
Frankie
saying?
and boyfriend. Take bits and pieces from each dude and put them together. She not getting it. I'm sorry, boo.
Y'all gotta write it in the comments.
She got a Nokia phone.
Huh?
Man, stop using that Nokia. Get you an iPhone, man.
I have an iPhone.
You using that Nokia, man. That just don't work, man.
Oh my God. Please chill on me. Chill on me. But yeah, all in all, I'm single because I'm still figuring things out. And I'm still figuring out what it is that I actually want and need. If that's a fair assessment, and that's really the truth. Uh, who's next out of the men? Y'all next.
Okay. Yeah, I would even if I go by Mr. L's definition, I would be considered single because I feel like I gotta start a new family. I feel like I gotta start something new. So yeah, I am single all around. I gotta start something new and I gotta build a team.
Hold up, I'm having some issues right quick. Hold up, baby. Wait.
Huh?
All right, so you gotta build a team.
Right.
All right. What about you, Miss O? Hello there.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, uh,
I'm here. Yeah, what's up?
hello. Hi. What Tracy? She was dope. Yeah, we're gonna have to run this one back. What you said though? Were you talking? Were you waiting?
Can you hear me?
Mr. Alif L. You the only one that didn't share.
He can hear you.
I say,
I
can you
don't
hear
think you
me?
can hear him. I don't think you can hear him.
Yeah, y'all
He's
can't hear me.
talking. He's talking. All right, you gotta get this
I'm
sound.
listening.
Yeah,
Can y'all hear me now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
I
Yeah.
can
She
hear
can't
you
hear me
now.
though. All right, cool. Cool. All right. So I didn't hear the question or whatever. Cause you're choppy, Key. Your side is choppy, so I didn't get the question.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right. What was your question, Key? Is what I asked.
I'm gonna mute my.
What was your
I'm
question?
listening.
What was your question?
Oh man. The question is, what will like? I guess is there? Do you desire to not be single, or what would make you change, or what would make what would like what would it take for you to give up your single status, hypothetically speaking, if that's
Um,
even for you?
um, I mean, as far as me, as it goes with me, um, I don't have a single status, right? I don't, like I said earlier, I don't really subscribe to that notion of being single. It's either I'm actively at the moment covering a woman or I'm not. You know,
Mm,
it's like that. Like, for men, I don't believe we can ever truly be single. It's either we're actively covering or we're not.
mm,
Um, and the womanhood, the thing about being single, is just more if she's covered or she's not. Um, like I said, I don't come from these definitions at you know um a
that's all.
European mindset. I come
That's
from a
all.
more of a, yeah.
That's
So
all we
what
ask you.
so the question is basically like, okay, being that, what would make me take a woman, basically cover a woman? That would be the better question, right?
Yeah, for a long term, like long term, not oh I'm covering you today, I'm covering her next week.
Nah, but it don't work like that. Coverings don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't work like that anyways, right? Um, like, so like the number one thing, right? So I've made a big mistake many times is, I didn't do a courting process, right? I
Europe,
didn't huh?
not a European phrase. Courting.
No. Courting comes from a very indigenous, or I don't like saying African, but well, let's just say that's a very melanated cultural process.
Teach me
It's a
something. Listening. Teach me. I can hear you.
yeah, so yeah, like it starts with courtship, of- you know, and it's just basically a process of getting to knowing a person, you know. So like, not like where I'm at now in life, it's like, yo, it feels like a big waste of time from coming from the male standpoint. Because for one, I truly didn't come into my hand manhood until recently. And then two, then when you realize like, yo, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. Right. So that's why
What
you have all, say
can
again.
we talk about that? What do you mean by doing it wrong? Can we talk about that? What do you mean by doing it wrong? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we could
Doing it
talk about it.
wrong. Talk
Um,
about it. What
Doing it wrong is believing that you know what you need and you want. Like, coming to find out that that in itself is false.
mm,
Um, you don't know what you need and you want until you know who you are.
that's true.
That's
Okay.
simple. So, because we're in a society that we don't really get the chance to know who we are until we have to take a solo journey on it, and there's not a culture that basically you grow up in that is teaching you who you are as you grow up. Because if you know that, then you get to know what you need to in order to fulfill your journey, or you know what you come from, you know what you are. So therefore we go through a process of just only feelings, emotions, and attractions.
Mm,
And when you go through that process, just feeling emotions and attractions, there's nothing sustainable in any of those processing. And so you end up just basically feeling your way through it, and it's never aligning with what you are.
mm,
So the first thing, once you get to know who you are, then you know what you need. Then we can
mm.
go from there. We can start from there. Then that's when the courting process begins. Now let's see if this person has what I need to build or fulfill whatever it is that I came to do. Right. And so because those steps, or we lost those steps, and we all know how we lost them, right? Um, because we lost those.
Nobody don't know, but we'll.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation that I'm not even gonna get into tonight, right? But we know how we lost those steps, and so being that we lost those steps in our building process, then we subscribe to a culture that's not even ours. And once we subscribe to that, that culture has us doing things based on our feelings, emotions. Oh, this guy makes me feel good, or she makes me feel good, or she looks good, or this, that, and the third. A bunch of just silly stuff, right? And all that silly stuff is
Ain't that
just a waste of time.
that's not the
Uh
right way? Not the right way?
huh. If it was the right way, you'd be married by now, right?
Who me?
Yeah,
Oh no, honestly.
exactly. Because you don't know, that's the answer. That's the answer. You still don't know, right? That's why we're having this actual discussion, and we're having this actual meeting. It's because we don't know, right? And then
Oh,
we don't come up with a group of um elders or council, or our parents aren't even um righteous, or they don't come up in a structure that taught them that you can inherit that trait from. So
mm.
it's just we rolling the dice within every entanglement. It's just a roll of the dice, right? That's all it is. It's because there's no prelude, you know um and it's within this culture. There's no prelude within this culture. So, not saying that all cultures are like that, but within this culture, there's no prelude before you engage people. Period.
You said
And
prelude, prelude.
prelude, yeah, prelude, yeah. There's no prelude, not lube. Prelude, all right? So there's no. We don't have that, right? And the prelude is the courting process. But before you can do the courting process, you need to know who you are. So when you're engaging in the courting process, you know what identifiers to look for what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build, you know, what the process that you're trying to accomplish. And that's, to me, it's that simple, but it's yet that hard too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to break the programming. And I'm a victim of the programming too. So I'm here telling you the right thing, but it's easy for me to say it, you know what I'm saying? Until I say a fine sister, and it's like, man, bump the program, right? But that's the thing though, as I get older, I desire to identify with a culture more so than just being out here um with no order, with no elders and no structure. And when you want that, then you understand, then there's qualifications to your womanhood. There's qualifications to your manhood. They're not just something that you can just say I am and it's done. No, womanhood and manhood is pretty much given and earned, you know. And it's given and earned because you come into a certain point where you know that you are a suitable mate for, like most people think they're wifey material, or men think they're husband material. It's like, yo, but who told you that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you done told yourself that. Like, nigga, you can't kick a bowl of grits, and bro, you can't even change out, you know what I'm saying, the PVC pipe under the sink, right? So it's like, who anointed you into your adulthood, like, right? So,
So,
and I'll just say,
so
like,
lack of
yeah,
rights is
so
a problem,
yeah.
pretty much.
So let's use a stolen. Let's just for example, right? Um, say we use the Jews, just for example, right? Even though they have a stolen culture, but let's just say for the boys, right? They have bar mitzvahs,
When
right?
15, however. Yeah.
But let's, for the sake of argument, let's say what that means to have a bar mitzvah. That means that that child has been groomed from conception to be a man once he reached that age. So think about it as that child from the time it's born is being raised to be a man at the age of 13. So that means he'll have knowledge of finance, he'll have responsibility, he'll understand the global aspect, he'll understand his position, he understands his culture, he understands how to use basically leverage in situations. And in the task of other things on top of the finance of educations, right? At 13, the expectancy is him to have the qualifications of a man at 13. But they're not asking him to be qualified at 13 or 14 years old whenever he has bar mitzvah. They're actually taking the time to build him up from birth till 13, 14 to be able to step in a man's role, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So at 13, 14, with people without a culture, they just want you to be in high school and not flunk,
Yeah.
right?
They'll throw
So
you.
there's mhm.
They'll throw you a sweet 16 party for God knows what. I don't know what it's for.
But you haven't been built yet. You see what I'm saying? So like it's a building process. You have to be built to be a man. You have to be built to be a woman. Like who's building you? Not like who's teaching you your morals and things like that. Of course, that's a part of the building process. But like you have to be built into these things.
You know,
And because we're not built to them, built for them, we end up being deficient.
trauma is built. A lot of us are built off of our traumas, and we're forced to make choices to either become that same thing or like try to do differently without a blueprint, which is part of my truth.
That's not just your truth. That's the predominant truth of people in America. Period. But it's like, yeah, that's the truth. That's so many different people's truth. So when is it? If okay, if that's your truth, don't you want that truth to die with you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm killing it every day.
Okay, so you killing it, but what are you doing now to actually facilitate that? You're building instructionals or ordering something for the people that come from you. Like, are you aligning yourself with the culture that will now leave you feel, and organized and structured,
Yeah.
right? Or is it going to be just another situation where I know, like people say, like so many people say, I want my child to just be better than me, right? That's the black that's the black thing, right? Oh, I just want my child to be better than me. Okay, cool. Your child can just have a higher credit score than you. They better than you. Cool, whatever. That's childish, right? Your child being better than you means that you have to now assimilate a structure and put them through steps and a certain guidance that prepares them to be better than you, younger than when you were prepared. Not just give them what information you didn't have, because the information isn't gonna do anything for them. Information is information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Information don't help nobody. You know what I'm saying? It just really gas people. Honestly, most people use information to just gas themselves. They don't really use information to live it. They just want to know it.
Mm.
So, that's the thing. And so until you come into or you build the structure or you assimilate to a culture that actually breaks the traumas, then it's really gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be an easy task. It's just not. So for me, it's just like yeah, I'm fortunate. Even at the age I am, I'm fortunate to now be a part of a culture, embrace a culture to where I know I'll raise children that won't have to inherit an unorganized structure, that they'll be having their own rites of passage. They'll be being built and developed to become men and women early on, so they'll have that head start, right? And then they'll have proper coverings, so they won't have to go through trying to figure out who they are, know who they are. And knowing who you are is just not knowing that, oh, I come from Africa and I'm a part of indigenous African spirituality.
That's
I'm
surface
not even
level.
gonna speak on that.
Yeah, it's surface level and it's different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, I guess I don't know if you were asking me or just saying like in general, but I'll go back to the question you asked, which was, what are you doing to ensure that the family structure you create does not go through the traumas you went through to be where you're at now. And for me, that looks like internal work. It means having the opportunity to spread my pain amongst different people, but choosing to be alone in my darkness to figure out what it is that's making me do certain things. It comes with a lot of mirror work. It comes with a lot of being accountable and honestly being honest about true desires, which means letting go of the disappointments or the things you've seen coming up. For example, if you was raised in a household full of violence and cheating, then it means to say, oh, I need to restructure my idea of what love actually is, not what I've seen as love, what I understood as love, but let me redefine that for myself. What does that look like? If you come from a family of women who possibly weren't treated like queens, and it's like, well, what do I do to become someone of value and respect? What do I not allow, or what do I fix within myself to find reasonable to deal with when it comes to a man? Is my loneliness more important or my fear of loneliness more important than what's good for me, what's feeding me in my spirit? And so that's a lot of what my singleness is about, because it's not like, oh, it's hard for me to get somebody. That's not the case. The case is I actually choose myself every day, because a lot of what I want ain't really what I need, and vice versa. And so that's what I'm doing, and hopefully I'm getting closer to it. As a woman, I don't believe that I can make someone do right by me, but if I set that standard and if I do right by myself, then naturally I should attract just what I need. And so that's what I'm going with and for going forward. Uh, do I want to be single the rest of my life? No,
Okay.
I don't.
Um, okay. So, can you hear me, Key? Because you breaking up a little bit.
Oh, repeat exactly what? Everything?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit, but your screen is still, so yeah, I know that your connection is weak. So I'll say this. Um Doing the work is great. You know, doing the self-care work and the self-love and all of the self-work is good. I mean, it's good. It's good for people to do, but it's still hard when you don't have the example of what a good man is, a good woman is in your life,
So true.
or you can't, you wasn't raised by one, or you wasn't surrounded by one, or well, not just one, but you wasn't surrounded by good men or good women. It's just hard to identify. No matter how much self work we do and self love, it's just hard to pinpoint it. And because it's hard to pinpoint it, and because we go through the process of actually trying to pinpoint it, that's where we fail a lot of times.
Yes. Or me,
Um,
I think where I'm feeling at right now is honestly not knowing what to do next, what the next step even looks like. And so it's just confusing. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a reality. Oh, but yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a reality to everybody out there that can still listen to me, hear me. Being single is a reality for me, not necessarily a choice that I care to live out the rest of my life. Um, and so let me put him back on here. Hold on, y'all. Whoa, give me a second. Where is he? Oh, hey, hello, hello on the phone, Lord. Hello, I mean, yo, hello.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. It's just storming. Yeah,
Huh? Is it still breaking up?
yeah, it's storming where I'm at right now. But yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, so pretty much, I was just explaining that the next, it's hard to figure out what to do next without a blueprint. So I thought I've done a lot of care work, but I really honestly do not know what the next step even looks like, and it's a little frustrating because my intern. So I have needs as a woman, as a single woman. I still have my body still has wants and needs, and so I'm at a place where I don't want anybody up in me. You feel me? And it's like I also don't have exactly what I want and need right now, so it's like a conflict. And even right now, I'm trying to figure out is my body and my what I believe to be a lack for the last however many months is more important than what my spirit and soul needs. And so I don't really have the right guidance or navigation system for that to be like, oh, if I want to do something with somebody tonight or in the morning, it's like, does that make me a bad person if I think I'm preparing for marriage? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like not really a guilt thing, but it's like a where self respect meets uh, needs type deal. And so I have a hard time navigating through these type of things, honestly.
Cool, cool, cool. Um, Now, like this whole thing can lead to a whole different topic, right? So I'm gonna just say this. What is the right thing to do? Like, besides, like I told you, earlier, we get trapped in feelings and emotions. Like, if you was just to like really just get rid of how you think your body feels, which I'm not saying or discrediting your body from feeling or wanting what it needs. We're at an age where yes, that's gonna be natural. But when you have to ask yourself, what's the right thing? Or more so, what's the righteous thing to do? Am I doing the right thing or the righteous things? There's 9 times out of 10, you're gonna know the answer. Now, whether you want to please yourself or not, then that's the honest question. I want to be pleased, not whether you're doing the right thing for yourself. Because that's when we start to lie to ourselves, right? We start to lie to ourselves because we say, okay, I'm doing right. No, you're not. You want to please yourself. Like, be honest with yourself. I want pleasure. Boom.
I want,
That kills the lie. Like, see,
I,
right? So it's like, right? I'm not like, listen, like, is that that's the honest thing to do, right? But that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, right? For what you're trying to be or trying to become, right? So like when you're honest with yourself, you be like, yo, I truly want pleasure, but I know that's not what I need or that's not the right thing to do. That is that simple. But can we accomplish that, or can we be disciplined enough to actually go through with that, that's a whole nother story, right? Because once we find ourselves not being righteous, we start to make excuses. Like, oh, my body wanted this, I needed that. I'm a woman, I got needs. That's to me bullshit, right? Just like men, we do the same thing. We got bullshit.
You wanna know what bullshit is? Being
All right,
righteous
I'm
for
listening.
11 months and still not getting the shit you praying for. That's some bullshit. I don't
Nah,
know
it
what you
ain't. But
talking about.
how long was you getting what you didn't need unrighteously? Um, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're
I
trying to be
don't know.
honest with yourself, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do know, right? So how many years will we, as the Muslims say, right? And I'm not Muslim, so nobody don't say nothing. Where they say you're in the dunya, right? How many years did you spend in the dunya, which basically means unrighteous behavior, right? And then now all of a sudden you want 11 months into you trying to be right with yourself, you want Mr. Right to fall out the sky, or you want the inheritance of your righteousness to fall out the sky 11 months later. Am I saying is that I'm not saying it's like, yo, you ain't putting enough work in? Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, let's be real with ourselves. When you're real with yourself, then you're like, yo, this is where I'm at, this is what it is. And two, a lot of it comes with your selection, your choice, what type of people you know what I'm saying, you deal with. Like, and I, because I can't say I don't have that problem. I really don't. You know, a lot of times when I've been in situations with women, it's always me most of the time, to be real with you. It's always me. And so I already know a lot of times when women are when they are, how would I say it, chronically single, as I would term it, it's always them, and they won't admit it. It's always them because
Oh,
whatever it is, yeah, yeah, most definitely. When you're chronically, and I consider chronic, right? I consider you when you're single by American terms longer than 1 year, it's you. It's not the people. It's you. Period. It's you. Cause it like we try and always make excuses, but it's mostly us. If you're single that long and you go without a covering, and men, we're single that long, it's usually us. It doesn't take that long to find a good person. It's usually just us on our bullshit.
All right, so we gonna close this one out, and I'm gonna start up another one. All right. Yo, so
Yeah,
I'm about to close this one out. We're gonna start a part two. That's cool.
I'm cool with
All
that.
right, let's do that. I'm gonna send you the link. Give me a second.